Gus Brindle, and this morning we're going to have a look at the new improved Vespe Stripper Bush, and we're going to have a look at how to actually fit it into a top kit. To do this, we're going to first of all look at the bush itself, have a look at the equipment that you'll need, the tools you'll need to actually fit it, and hopefully I'll be able to show you how simple it is to do. No glue, no fuss, just straightforward 5-minute job. Okay, and everybody should have the tools or be able to get the tools to do the job fairly easily. So without further ado, let's have a quick look at the kit then. Okay, first let's have a look at the bush itself. This is the new version of the Vespe Bush. Now some of you may have seen the old one, and like the Colmic one, and I've got one up here of the originals, and the original was a 3-piece device. It had the post itself here, which is the bit that the PTFE bush goes through. It had a washer, I'm not sure if you can see that there, it's quite difficult to get off, but a white washer, which is actually concave in shape, so it actually seats neatly onto the pole. Okay, and then on top of that you then had the PTFE bush itself, which pushes through the hole and locks it into place. Oops, there you go, juggling, bad juggling. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so I mean that's really simple, really straightforward. So how have Vespe improved on it? Well, the one thing they've done is they've actually made it now a 2-piece idea. All it is now, no washers to lose, no nothing else. It's just simply a post with the hole through it, and the post has now been, and you probably can't see that on there, but the post, the top of the post has been adapted so that it will seat onto the pole. So it's curved so it will seat properly, okay, without the need of a washer. And then, as before, the PTFE bush just pushes through to lock it in place. And we'll see how that works on the top kit when we fit one in a minute. So that's the bush, okay, ready to use. So we'll place that back down here. So what else are we going to need in order to actually fit this this bush today? Well, the first thing we're going to need is a drill, small drill bits. Now this is a set, you can buy them almost anywhere. Some people tell me you need to use a 1mm drill bit or less. I've never had that problem. I use a 2mm. I find a 1mm drill bit doesn't give you enough purchase to get the grinding stone working properly. Okay, and talking of grinding stones, that's what we're going to use to actually make the hole. If you try and use a 7 or 7.5mm drill, it can actually shatter because it's actually quite a large drill, and the drill bit can actually shatter the pole if you're not careful. So to stop that, we're actually going to use one of these grinding points. Okay, now this is a standard stone grinding point, a tapered one. Okay, and you can buy these in almost any hardware store. They do them for Dremels, and I mean here in this, I've got one of these multi-kit things that you get as a useless Christmas present with about 600 bits in. You'll see there's one in there as well. Okay, so that's a simple grinding bit. Now obviously the grinding bit's about 10mm at the bottom, which is far too big. So if you're going to use one of these, when you start drilling, what you need to do is drill a little bit, take it out, test the bush. If it's not quite right, drill a little bit more, test it, and keep going a little bit at a time, because obviously, just like loose feeding and ground baiting, if you go too far, put too much in, you can't put carbon back on, like you can't take bait out, and your top kit won't work. Okay, so you do have to be a bit careful when you're using one of these, but they do work, and that's what I used initially to fit all of mine. However, if I place that down there and pick this up, one of my very good friends, Sean Stockley at A46 Angling Supplies, now sells these. This is a grinding bit that's actually been ground down itself to exactly 7.5mm. So these you theoretically go straight through into your pole kit, and actually it'll be the perfect size. And we're going to test that theory in a minute when we do it. So there's the bits, and we need a drill point. You'll also need a drill. I've got set up in my workshop, I've got a Dremel on a extending cable, and I've just got it hung from the ceiling, so a bit easier for me. But you can just use a standard electric drill. Okay, one with a screwdriver drill with a variable speed is a little bit better because it makes it easier with the grindstone to actually slowly set up. So I'll leave that there for the second. Right, so now we need to have a quick look at the top kit, and if I move the camera around, hopefully we should be able to see this, and I need to adjust it slightly, but there you go. Okay, and zoom that in. Okay, you'll see that I've actually got the top kit sat in this jig here. I made this out of a bit of couple of bits of wood and some bolts, really for repairing broken pole sections, so you can seat the pole section when you're wrapping it. But you don't need one of these. It just makes it a little bit easier to hold the pole in place while I'm actually drilling it. Okay, you can actually do it. Just lay it on a cloth and hold it still, and it's absolutely fine. It's not going to break. You're not putting a lot of force onto it. On this top kit, this is a Colmic one from my F55, or from the F series of Colmic poles, and you will note that here I have a reinforced section on the pole which is for drilling. Now with these side pullers, and with any side puller, you're putting a 7.5mm hole in the side of the pole, and if you're going to use a match kit, I would look at the diameter of your match kit. If it's a Daiwa, I'd wait for a few weeks before you buy any of these, because Vespe are bringing a new one out, and I should be able to do a video on that next week or so, which actually slots down, because the diameter of the Daiwa number 3 section is very narrow. Okay, so they brought out a smaller one with a built-in sleeve to go over the top. But for today, reinforced section. If you go through any carp kit, you don't normally have a problem. Carp kits are normally strong enough carbon that actually they'll take the side pullers without any problem. Now I like to have all my side pullers coming out in the same place, and I like to be able to see the joint numbers and everything when I'm fishing, because I'm a tackle tart like that. So I'm going to twist this round slightly so that I fit it in the same place as I've got all of my other side pullers. Okay, and the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to look, I want the hole midway along through that that reinforced piece of carbon there. So it's going to get a bit noisy, but what I'm going to do is quickly flick my Dremel on, and I'm just going to put a simple 2mm pilot hole down through the top kit like this. Okay, and all I've done is put a tiny little pilot hole, and all that does is just gives the grinding bit somewhere to bite into. If you don't put a pilot hole in, the grinding bit can tend to slide across. I mean, you can do it without one, don't get me wrong, and people with a steadier hand than mine will probably not have any sort of problems with it at all. Okay, I'm going to take the drill bit out. Unfortunately with this Dremel that means changing the chuck over. Okay, that's now tightened in place. So what we're going to do now is, with the grinding point, I'm simply going to use the pilot hole, as you can see that will slot into it, as a start point, and I'm just going to go down straight through into the pole kit. And I'm going to be very careful that I don't go all the way through and touch the far side of the pole, like this. Okay, so that was nice and straightforward and simple. Okay, so we've now got a 7.5mm hole through the side of the thing. It's a bit like being at the dentist, isn't it? Okay, and you'll see that although that's gone through the first time, okay, it's actually still quite tight. And the reason I do that is basically I want to make sure, because I've not used this one from Sean before, to make sure it fits properly. So then we take the bush, which hopefully if this focuses, there you go. Okay, and you want to pull the PTFE back so that it's actually not showing. Okay, so it's actually not showing in the hole. You can just see it. Okay, and all we're going to do is we're going to slot that into the hole. Okay, right, that's just a little bit tight, which I thought it might be, so we'll go through again. Remember what I said about just adapting it around a little bit. We're going to go through a bit slower this time. Okay. And all we're going to do again is we're going to try it again. It's still a bit tight, but it's actually almost there now. Okay, so make that nice and slow this time. As I said, it's better to be safe than sorry. Okay. Better to be safe than sorry. It's better to go through 3 or 4 times slowly, okay, than go through and find you've made a hole that's much too big and you can't actually fit the side puller in. Okay. Okay, it's almost there now. Almost there. Keep pressing the thing the wrong way. Okay. So now, there you go. That seats in. Okay. And all you then do, now you've got it seated on, is to twist it round slightly so it's lined up exactly up the pole, and actually push the PTFE in. And that is perfectly locked in place. It can't come out. Okay. It's seated, and I'll get the camera and try and zoom in on it so you can actually see it. Okay, I'll put it at an angle so we might be able to see. Okay, just there. If I zoom in, can you see how that's seated on there? Really quite nicely. Okay, absolutely perfect every time. I'll twist it round. There you go. Can you see how the bush is actually tapered? It's actually been cut in so it seats perfectly onto the pole. Oh, pushed it off centre. Okay, so that's as simple as it is, and that section now is ready for elasticating. So we can actually take it out of my chuck here, okay, and pop it with the number 1 section, ready for elasticating later on today. So there you have it. Hopefully that shows you just how simple it is to fit one of these new Vespe side pullers. You don't need a Dremel. You can use both of those bits will fit quite easily into the same drill you use to mix your ground bait with, okay, or in your normal household drill. So the best thing about these bushes for me is if I ever break a top kit, and believe me, I break quite a few, as some people will know. All you need to do, you don't need to go and buy another puller bung, another bung or anything. All you do is you pull out the PTFE, you pop the bush out, drill a hole, put it in the next one. Because it's PTFE and it's just a post, it's never going to wear out. So that might be a long-term design fault in the product, but simply that's as simple as it is. Simple to fit, very effective, and not only that, it's probably the best product on the market, the best puller concept on the market, or stripper concept on the market, because when that PTFE goes through this post into the pole, it's actually sitting right in the middle, pointing up the length of the pole section. So it keeps your elastic off the sidewall through the top, through the bigger section, where it can actually get stuck against the side when it's wet or when it gets dirt inside the pole section. So I strongly recommend going out and investing in some. Dead easy to fit, and if you don't fancy doing it yourself, I'm sure there'll be more than enough people happy to do it for you. So on that note, I'll leave you. Good luck with your fishing, and I hope to see you out on the bank sometime.